Alice Skenador, and I'm the Executive Director at Wise Women Gathering Place, founder of the organization. I'm a former midwife of 27 years, helped over 750 babies get born. I'm a member of the Lukulare Ojibwe tribe, Anishinaabe. My native name is Wigwasians. I'm the mother of 6. I've been married to my husband for 34 years, and I'm a grandmother of 2.
Hi, I'm Beverly Scow from Wise Women Gathering Place. I'm from the Quixotic Nation from the West Coast in British Columbia, and I'm happy to be here in Oneida for the last 20 years working at Wise Women Gathering Place. Wise Women Gathering Place began as a women's circle around Alice's kitchen table, mostly to learn about midwifery. And we met every Monday for 8 years. You know, some women came, you know, as our life came and went at different times, and show up around 9 with some of our at-home babies and headed out around 3. And sometime during that day we did something about midwifery. We learned a lot from each other around the table. And we've grown into this nonprofit agency that the community has really come to rely on.
So some of the things that we do at Wise Women are we teach healthy relationship development using a curriculum called Discovery Dating that grew out of our early beginnings when I was a midwife, and we used to have women's meetings at my house around the table in the kitchen. When women get together to learn things or talk, we always have conversations, and many of those conversations are about relationships. And so that's where the inspiration came from. And the curriculum is a way of helping yourself to figure out your own values and describe who you are for yourself and for others, and a way of also determining where you want your life to be headed. What kind of a person do you want to be? It was a 5-year federal grant to teach abstinence education at 2 tribal schools. And we got to teach them discovery dating once, 1 hour a day, twice a week for the whole school year. Kind of a mega dose of abstinence education that nobody else probably got to do. And we taught only at the 8th grade level, and we evaluated our 8th graders pre and post, and then at the end of our 5 years, the 8th graders were either 1, 2, 3, or 4 years out of our class. We evaluated the high school to see what was happening in the aftermath of learning discovery dating. And I'm just like as proud as anything, and as, you know, shocked as anything about the results we got, because we had taught over in one of those schools, we had taught 157 kids over that 8-year period, and we asked the clinic at the tribe if they could tell us how many pregnancies had occurred amongst that group of children, both boys and girls. And the response was that 5 pregnancies had been recorded in that group, whereas the rest of the kids in that county, which is a total Native community, Native reservation, there were 136 kids, and there were 32 pregnancies in that group that had not had what we had. It was a demonstration grant, so we had to do some strong evaluation, and we didn't know anything about evaluation. We didn't know who do you even call about getting evaluation done.
We started as a grassroots group not knowing anything about evaluation, from our kitchen table women's circle to writing our first federal grant, and in that process we had to partner with the university and evaluate that 5-year program. And the evaluator did more of that, and we just said yes, whatever, you know. We had input, we were collaborators in it, but a lot we didn't understand about the technical parts of evaluation. And then we got invited through our community domestic violence coordinated community response team to get involved in primary prevention and be a collaborator in a Delta grant, where there's 4 now projects in the state of Wisconsin who are exploring primary prevention of intimate partner violence and how, what is it and how can we measure it and what are some best practices. And so we learned a lot. They did a lot of capacity building with us in that way, with process evaluation, looking at tools. And so we looked at discovery dating and evaluation with a different lens than our federal grant. We're at a place where we want to assess discovery dating and make it accessible for other groups, and to be on a registry of evidence-based practices would make us more accessible. So that's an expensive endeavor. And so this opportunity with NACE was so wonderful, you know, to be able to help us see if we can do that.
I didn't know what to expect. I knew there was going to be maybe 4 other groups there. I was excited about that, wanted to see what else was happening. And I knew that I had great confidence that this was meant to help us. So that was, that was what took away my feelings scared.
And then to get a really nice orientation on evaluation and meeting the technical assistance evaluators who were going to help us. We created an action plan, you know, and it worked out really well.
Thinking, what are we going to tell them, you know, because we've done a lot of things, but how do you put it all in a capsule and say here it is so that somebody new can get it, you know?
I guess it challenged us, you know, in our own understanding of evaluation, and challenged us to be more responsible, you know, to be in the design of it and really figure out what's going to make the difference for our program.
We do tons of prevention programming, but I don't always think of it in terms of that's prevention programming. Mm-hmm. But Bev sees the connection, and she can lay it right out there in response right away. And so I had, you know, all the support you could possibly need in a new situation. As the day rolled on, they had a nice agenda that explained what was going to be done, and they had a nice presentations of things that they wanted us to learn or to understand. So it was understandable and clear, and when it's clear for me, I feel confident that we can do it.
It was up to us, and we had those the technical assistants to help us walk through it, but we were in charge of the design, and that was really good. I mean, just like any business plan, you have to do it yourself, and I think for the evaluation too, you have to understand the parts and think it through and figure it out. So it was a great learning opportunity. Oh, we were really happy with our evaluators.
I don't know how to say how highly qualified I think this woman is. She's a gentle, humble, soft-spoken giant of an evaluator. I guess that's how I would put it, because the experience that she brings and the quickness with which she gets what it would take to evaluate what you do is amazing. You know, when you first think about evaluation, I remember back in the very first early days of us even thinking we had to evaluate, because that's what we were told we had to do, and me thinking, well, how do you evaluate this or that? It seems impossible, but there are ways.
She really found us some reliable, valid tools, you know, that we could try out that were attached to theories that we had thought we were premised upon.
She just completely recognized it, and then she explained it back to me, and I got it. And it sounded, you know, very doable and very important. So that was amazing.
And Lester really helped us in connections into another Native community that we could bring our curriculum to.
He was in a place where he had connections in Indian country in his state that he was willing to share with us. The commitment of these two people to help us not only to evaluate what we do, but who exhibited faith in our success and saw the potential in what we're trying to do is very heartening and it's very encouraging.
We experienced through NACE some really good they introduced us to some new tools that are reliable and valid, not necessarily to our population, but we got a chance to pilot those surveys out this year. One of the keys is fidelity, of how to see that you're doing the same thing each time. And so we're using some of those resources to help us really look at our teacher's manual and our teacher's training and how to make it consistent in each community. Or what are the core things that have to be there, because every community is different and they're going to make it relevant and meaningful to their community, but what are those core things? Then the great opportunity with this funds is we're going to pilot or do a comparison study. So with Lester's help, we've got contacts in Montana. They haven't ever heard of discovery dating or had it there, so we'll be in a school this fall. So this is a whole, you know, interesting journey on evaluation, and this opportunity takes us to another level of exploring what we're doing, what's making a difference, and then hopefully, you know, being able to show that to the world.